Welcome to the Scrappers of Orrington. Behind me here is a truck there that we have stuff in. So it's very important that you have your name out there if you're going to be a scrapper. Through cards or advertisement, your friends, let everybody know what you're doing. It's kind of like an Amway salesman. You want to make sure that you have your name out there. A lot of this stuff was just given to me through friends. This dryer broke down. I used to own that. This one broke down. This is something that broke down. This was out in somebody's front yard. And of course, just recently a friend gave me some light metal. So it's always a good idea to let everybody know what you're doing. And a lot of times you'll find, surprisingly enough, that people will just go ahead and give you stuff just to get it out of the way. You can ask them, hey, do you want to split the profit? Most of the time, people tell me, no, just go ahead and get it out of mine. Sometimes they'll want a little money, and I'll give it to them. So, you know, welcome to the Scrappers of Orrington, and we'll be doing more as we continue on the day.
Use a little caution.
Because
might have to have the damn thing operated on us. Kind of.
You may.
All right.
That's it.
That's good. Good start.
See, after we get done with the process, you can have the skins, but they're still considered light metal. It's always a good idea to take those in, and then you separate your engines and your wires. See the one over here with the whole kind of wire, and you can see the 3 engines that we took out. That right there is worth extra money. It's worth processing on that, especially for the extra money. And then, of course, after we're loading everything up. Good scrappers will clean up what they've got for trash, because it's always a good idea to clean up after yourselves, because it keeps there in the environment, and it keeps the wives from being mad at you.
Don't get us wrong, we're not a bunch of environmentalist wackos. We're just, you know, when Ed was talking about cleaning up, he was just talking about, you know, keeping things neat. It is our responsibility to stay neat, but at the same time, you know, I'm not a tree hugger. So. Okay.
And he's getting along. He's starting a new job, and he's kind of screwing up and this and that. And she'd say, geez, boy, you really need to get your shit together. And Lisa, do something about this boy. Oh. You know, and she's going, boy, you know. And finally, the kid went walking and went, Belinda. She's like, what? I said, you can't call a black man boy. They find it an insult. They do? Where have you been?
No.
Lisa, one of the other girls goes, haven't you ever washed roots?
Let me hold that.
That all trash, honey?
Yeah. Amazing how much room you find in the cupboards.
Even scrappers need a break.
Crackers and stuff?
So now what are we doing, Ed?
Well, we just got done loading everything up. So we're going to go over to the scrap yard, and we're going to drop everything off and try to make our money.
Why have you decided to be a part-time scrap metaler?
Well, because well, it's just like you know, other reality things. You have a job, but sometimes it's good to have a little extra income. So we kind of did this to get some income going on, and it helps clean up the environment, and it helps to you know, it helps take the resources that you already have, and it can be reused instead of using the natural resources. You can just go ahead and use what we've got. They can melt it down and reuse it again. But mostly we're doing it for the money, because we both work. Lloyd and I both work, but sometimes it's just good to have a little extra cash.
So, Lloyd.
Yes.
So why have you decided to become a part-time scrap metaler?
Well, it all started back when we were cleaning out this old guy's house, and we brought some scrap back and made some pretty good money. And I kind of like a drug. I instantly got hooked to it. Love doing it. Love working. You know, kind of being our own bosses and working when we want.
Set our own hours.
And it's a lot of fun.
Do you feel that you get paid enough for your work?
Well, for the most part, yeah. Sometimes, you know, you could work hard and not get paid so much, depending on the price of metal at the time, or depending on the price of copper or aluminum. Sometimes you can work real hard and not make a whole lot. Sometimes you can not work so hard and make a whole lot. So it's one of those hit and miss things when it comes to that. But I think for the most part, overall, yes, if I wasn't making enough money, I wouldn't be doing this.
How about you, Uncle Lloyd? Why have you decided to, do you feel you get paid enough for your work?
Most definitely, almost always, you know, you know, it's worth the hourly wage if you figure what we make most of the time, and break it down hourly. It's good money.
We get when we turn in our scrap metal, we get little statements that tell us how much we paid for the day, and we will claim that to the IRS to make sure that everything stays above board. And so far, the business in just about 6 months has gained us almost $6,000, which isn't a whole lot of money, but you know, the business itself, it's about $1,000 a month that we make. You know, a little here and a little there. We might make 5 or 6 trips in a month or something like that, but it's worth doing.
What do you value in your work?
I value the challenge. I value it's a man's job. I'm not a sexist, but I like the idea of what I do. See, what I do a lot of times for my full-time job is caring for people, and I love doing that. But this is a job where you get out and you sweat, you break metal down, you're lifting things, you're you know, toting that barge, lifting that bale. So I like it because it's good manly work, and it helps you sweat. And to me, it's just a real joy to be able to do this stuff. Yeah, every once in a while you got some cuts, and you know, with a few cuts, sometimes some women think cuts are sexy.
Well, for the most part, I would have to agree with Ed in the sense that it's you know, very physical job. Kind of helps you stay in shape because, like Ed, I'm in the same field of work. You know, caring for people that can't care for themselves, and I also like that kind of work. But you don't get a lot of physical exercise that way, so I like the physical aspect of it. And once again, when we're out getting muddy and dirty, and yeah, I kind of like that. It's kind of manly, you know.
Does working with your brother provide too much drama?
Sometimes. There's times when we have a disagreement on things. You know, having the personalities that we have. Yes, we have the same mom and dad, but we also have different ideas and different ways of doing things. So sometimes we have some disagreements on how we think something should be done, or we might have disagreements on, you know, what should happen at what time. But for the most part, we try to work it out. And if not, well, I hope that I'm bigger than him and I can pound him.
Does working with your brother provide too much drama?
From time to time, it does. You know, like Ed was saying, you know, we're two different people, so from time to time we have different ideas. Sometimes we don't like each other's particular idea, and we prefer to go with our own for the most part. But once again, you know, in any business atmosphere, whether it be a relative, friend, you know, just a business partner, you're not going to agree on everything.
What is your definition of a sissy scrapper?
When we first started this business, we used to go out into the woods here in Maine, and we would dig out engines from the ground and dig out scraps of cars, and we used to really get in there and dig and try to get whatever metal we could. So a sissy scrapper to me is somebody who just kind of takes the metal and goes with it and kind of turns it in as it is, without really going in and digging hard for it and digging into the earth and
processing.
Picking up. Processing, right?
I believe that sissy scrapping, a lot of it depends on the job. Some jobs are harder than others.
Right.
And lately, we haven't had that many hard jobs. What is your definition of the sissy scrapping?
Well, see, this is one of the circumstances where I have to disagree with my brother. I don't consider us sissy scrappers. Yeah, we don't. We haven't been digging through the ground like we first started out doing. But at the same time, we do everything we can to process this stuff down to make the money, as much money as we possibly can.
Yeah, but we ain't tough anymore.
I wouldn't say that we're not tough anymore. I think we are. Okay, so my definition of a sissy scrapper would be somebody that would load a bunch of metal in their truck, not bother trying to, grab a hammer, screwdriver, whatever, and start tearing things apart to make more money. They're just going to throw it in the back of the truck and dump it off just as is.
Well, how about if I grab a hammer and maybe tear you apart?
Well, if you think you can try that.
Well, I'll wait till the camera shut off before I do.
You might find that I might not back down like I used to as a kid. There,
So what you're saying is that I might get my steak, but you might get your hamburger. Worked a couple hours and we made $93.16. So my partner and I made about $50 a piece for about an hour's work. Not too bad.